Good afternoon, collectors. I hope this finds all of you in a great holiday mood when you're stringing lights and stuffing stockings and wrapping presents. But take a few minutes now, sit back, have a cup of something to drink. Tea,
hey, where's my cup?
coffee. I don't know. You don't drink any of those things, Rick.
All right.
And think Villages with us. And if you browse around on Facebook, you will see displays like you wouldn't believe. There are hundreds of them, and each one is different, which I absolutely love. And I know, Amy, you've looked at some of them.
I do, a lot.
Yeah, there are just tons of wonderful displays. So if you need some inspiration, just go to Facebook and look around. Lots of things to see. As I mentioned earlier in the week, I have two guests with me, two of my favorite people here at Department 56, besides the person behind the camera there, Rebecca, who needs to keep things running for us, and she will be watching for your questions and comments. I have Rick Jackson, my boss, who is the creative director of design and development. I looked that up, Rick.
There you
wow,
go.
That's impressive.
That's
Here
a lot
at
of
Department
syllables.
56. And how long have you been with us?
23 years.
23 years. Is that all? You're just
a pup around
You're
here.
just a pup around here. And Amy Schaefbauer, who I think you met briefly last year.
Yep.
Amy may be new to Villages, but she's been around here quite a while. She's the senior brand manager, now in charge of Villages. And you've been here how long, Amy?
I have been here also 23 years.
We were in the
22
same class.
will be 24 years.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So they're novices compared to me because I just started 34 years. Or 33 years?
You've lost track.
I've lost
Yeah.
track. It's, lived half
Once
my
you get
life.
up to that level, it's
Yeah,
I've been
I
here
know,
a long
yeah.
time.
Hey. and Rebecca's putting up 3 fingers. Hey, so you got to start someplace, Rebecca. But both Rick and Amy are seasoned employees with lots of experience about Villages. And I know if you've got some questions that they can answer, please feel free to type them in on our Facebook page now. And Rebecca will look for those and we'll try to get some of your questions answered during our segment this afternoon. So here we go. I asked Amy to do something, and I know it's something that a lot of you are interested in. I asked her to put together a list for us, and I was kind of surprised, of the best village sellers for 2021. So we're going to go through each of the villages and tell you what the top 3 are, and maybe we'll have some ideas and comments about why they are the most popular.
Yeah.
So Amy, if you want to start?
Sure. First off, we're going to touch on Christmas in the City. It's one of our newest collections, and it really resonates. The city streets, the city sidewalks right now, this is the time of year where we're all out shopping, going from store to store, and that's really what that village collection represents. So top of the list this year is our new license piece with FAO Schwartz, and that rose to the top this year, which was really nice to see, because as we go through the list, you'll notice a lot of these are older pieces that remain our top sellers, so it's nice to see some of our new introductions hitting the top of the list.
But that was a really cute piece this year. It had some really great detail.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that was a piece that Tom did, and what was nice about that piece is that we had a lot of historical references from all of the different. I think FAO Schwartz has been around for quite a while,
Yes.
and so this house is kind of.
1860s.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And so this house has a lot of design cues from a lot of the different buildings to get to one that's kind of a mashup. So
Yeah.
it looked nice.
Yeah, and then iconic to a city landscape is the big skyscrapers. So second is the Woolworth Building, which was introduced a couple of years ago. And then rounding out the collection was Lu Chow's German restaurant. So we have everything kind of covered. The city, the landscaping, the toy store, and then a restaurant. So it really represents
I was kind of
city.
surprised by Lucho's.
Yeah, it's got a classic look to it. It's a German restaurant. I know in Minnesota that's a big deal with the German background, and it's a nice classy place, and it's actually inspired by a real restaurant. So it has some of that to it that lends
Nostalgia
some-
that people maybe have been there. that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Christmas Carol is next on our list, and on that one, unlike Christmas in the City, where we had 3 pieces all from 2021, the best seller is the Scrooge and Marley's Counting House, which is introduced in 2000. So what is that? 21 years.
wow.
And I think one of it's kind of the cornerstone of the story, where Scrooge begins his nightmare transformation, whatever. But that one, I think the big feature for that one is the animation.
Yeah.
So we've got the
Yeah.
3, the ghosts starting off his night of terror.
Well,
and-
with a house that's been around that long, it certainly proves
Yeah.
that there still are a lot of people starting
Yep,
this
new
village.
collectors that
Yeah,
start up with that one.
absolutely.
Yeah, so that one, I think that the animated feature with the lights and when you look inside, you get that nice action. And that was one of the first pieces we did with LED lights, and we went with the bright white, which has that blue tint to it, which kind of adds to that
Rick-
haunted look to it.
That's not the same house.
Oh, it's not?
Nope, that's the flat of Ebenezer Scrooge.
Well, now I'm getting all mixed up.
That one came out in 1990 and is still available.
No, aren't we talking about the one with the animated ghost?
Nope. The one
Oh,
next door.
well then I'm way off. All right. Well, let's see how I do
Moving
with the
along.
next one.
Pratchett's Corner.
Cratchit's Corner. Which one is that? That one actually is a pretty cute house that the whole Christmas Carol, it does surprise me that you have we have put new pieces in there, and they've actually come and gone, but these 2 houses kind of form the basis of the story, with Cratchit in their household and Scrooge certainly in his on the other end.
Amy,
So-
I've got a question about this. Now, when you looked these pieces up, was the graveyard part of lighted pieces, or was that considered an accessory?
It would be considered part of the lit buildings.
It would.
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
The
that
subsection.
right now is my very
I
favorite.
thought
piece.
that one would have made the cut.
I would have
I'm
thought
just
so
looking
too.
over at
I
it.
mean, so
That's a
it's
nice
very
looking
surprising
piece.
sometimes how this happens. Are we getting any questions yet, Rebecca?
Well, someone's wondering why we're not showing pieces.
Because Rick won't let me take him out of the display, and he's going to talk about that later.
Exactly. All right, we'll see how we do with Dickens Village. That one, these ones are pretty straight on why these are popular. We have Swift's string instruments, and that's a small piece, but it's got a great interior on it. This one, I think it has a violin, a cello, and something else, but it's a small piece. It's got a great interior. It's been around for a long time, and that means it's got a pretty good price point. We still will get bumps from the factories, so you're getting a lot of product for that house, and it's also a smaller piece that fits in. It's a fun piece. I think, in fact, we also use that same interior in Alpine Village house with a music theme to it. So
could
we
be.
used the 2 interiors when we were trying to add a piece where we were up against the wall. So that's got probably the only one with the distinction of having the same interior in 2 different villages.
I did not know that.
Well, there you go. That makes up for the Scrooge and Marley's Counting House.
Hey,
And
we're
then-
only human here, Rick.
Then we go to the Joseph Edward Tea Shop 2011. I don't know if I said the string instruments was 2006, and then 2011. Again, a nice looking piece. And it just hits all the buttons for
Well, and I
a
think
good
tea
price point.
is something that that's very popular. You know, I think people will buy pieces that they're attracted to. You know, they'll buy a coffee shop because we're all coffee, not all of us, but most of us are coffee drinkers. Not
Or
Rick.
tea.
Or tea for the tea
Tea
shop.
shop.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So I think they're attracted to
tea.
pieces like that. So, and then there's
And if they're
some-
not drinking tea, they're probably drinking wines. And the third house is E. Tippler Wine and Spirits. And I think that's also, that one doesn't stick out in terms of any super features, but again, excuse me, it's a nice house. It's got a lot of details, and it's just kind of a classic design. And again, that's 2004. So some of these houses that we've gone up to have some nice features or scale, but it looks like what we're finding with Dickens Village is we've got nice houses, solid design, and just good looking
And I can
pieces.
remember when that piece came out. Barb Lund thought that was the funniest name.
Tippler?
Yeah, and that's actually a name that she put out, and but the Tippler is
Yeah.
that's the part she loved.
Tippler. Dipping. Okay.
Yeah. Then we'll move on to the North Pole collection. And in that, we have two older pieces and then one fairly newer. We have at the top of the list is Santa's Hot Cocoa Cafe. Again, iconic to what North Pole really is about, with the hot cocoa and that sweet little design with a little face, the Santa's face in the built right into the cafe. Then we have Mickey's Ear Factory, which was also done in 2011. And again, a lot of our licensed pieces always rise to the top with when we put them into the core collection. So we have Mickey's Ear Factory, which again, so iconic to Disney with Mickey's ears.
Yes, because you can't go to Disney
You
World.
can't without get out in your ears.
You got to get some
You gotta
ears
get
when you
your
get down
ears.
there.
Yeah.
And the third one?
And the third one is Ginger's Cottage. And in the last couple of years, the popularity of gingerbread has really exploded. So I think that's what's driven that
Oh, and it's such a
up
cute
to the
piece.
top, being the gingerbread cottage. We have
Yeah.
some new introductions in 21, and you'll see some more gingerbread coming in 22 as well.
Yeah, and
Gingerbread
people,
Lane.
a lot of our collectors like those kind of pieces that are kind of food related, which would the hot cocoa cafe and the Ginger's Cottage and that sort of thing,
Yep,
the
sweet
gingerbread
treats,
meal.
peppermints.
Yeah,
all
they
that
like
kind
to
of good
display
stuff.
those in their kitchen, so those are
Yes.
some cute ones for that.
Branch out from their design and put
Put it in other
put it
places.
in other
Mhm.
places.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we're going to go to Snow Village, and we've got three top sellers that Amy put down, and the number one seller is from 2010, and that's the Christmas at Grandma's House, and that is it's a good solid piece. It's a good size piece. It's got a nice interior. I think we reissued it once in a different colorway.
And we called it the other grandma's,
Yeah.
which I loved.
Right, going to the other grandma.
And that's a piece that we've kept in the line. It's a piece, again, it doesn't seem as old as some of these other pieces, but at 2010, we're getting a good price point on that because it's been in the line and it's been in there for a while. If we were to reintroduce it, it would really have some different impacts on the pricing. So we want to keep that in there. We're working with the factory to keep it viable, and it gets. I think the interior scene is the warm and fuzzy with going over the river and through the woods to Grandma's house, and so that interior reflects that, and I think that helps hold this one at the number one.
For sure.
The number one piece. And then the second one is the Dairy Queen, which is 2015, and that's big for us because Dairy Queen is the corporate headquarters are in the Twin City area,
Yep.
and I think the first Dairy Queen, is that the one in Rosedale?
I don't know, but
Whatever.
who doesn't love a good blizzard?
I know. And so that one, we did that one. They were happy to work with us because they're literally just on the other side of 494, and we went over there to talk to them about working with them, and they had a freezer full of dilly bars, and we each could have a dilly bar and talk about them. And some of you might remember Jeff Junkins, who did a lot of work for us over the years and
Yeah.
has been featured. He's an employee at Dairy Queen, so he also helped us get our foot in the door
Yeah,
and get
Jeff,
that
Jeff
piece
did
going.
our Williamsburg.
Yeah, he did the Williamsburg line, a lot of the some of the hot properties, and he's done a lot of work for us over the years.
Awesome.
And then Lot 60, this one's one of my favorite houses of the current season, Lot 60 Christmas Court. And that's the one, I'm looking at it now across the way, but that's the one where we kind of went overboard with the cardinal theme. We had the cardinal lady, the cardinal theme with the Christmas court, and then we did cross product with, I think we had a bag of like 10 cardinals. We had cardinals on fences, cardinals on
Mailboxes.
wheels, mailboxes, bird baths, and everything. We did a nice display in the village with just cardinals everywhere. And every year you kind of have your favorite one, and this one, when I look at the figurine of the woman with the
Bird seed.
the building itself and all the stuff, it
And
was
the
my
cardinal
favorite.
sitting on her head.
I know, and I believe it was. I think we did a glamour shot of it in the
Yes.
2021 catalog.
Yep.
It's a fun piece, nice piece, and it's nice to see. Like we said earlier, it's nice to see a 2021 on the top seller list.
Yeah.
It shows those Christmas court, those trailers pieces are kind of fun.
Yeah.
Fun to have a
kitschy,
little.
but yet
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we started with
Lot 50.
lot 56, so this is the fourth in the series. So we'll see how that goes, and then I think we followed that up with the haunted trailer park.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Very good.
Okay. Well, and then Amy also did a little bit with cross product, and besides light bulbs, the standard set of 3 light bulbs on a pack was the #1 seller. It was the #1 seller last year. It was the #1 seller this year when you order parts through our replacement parts section on our website. Number
Lot of
one,
light bulbs.
number one. Trees and snow.
Yes, we
All
sell
of our-
a lot of snow.
Do we sell more more real plastic snow or more fresh
It's
fall?
actually pretty close.
Is it?
Yeah, they're really close.
Now, I don't
So
know
I-
if we do any more, but I remember years ago, probably 10 or 15 years ago, I was told that we did sell real plastic snow that they used in decorating at the White House.
Oh, yeah.
So we've sold a lot of real plastic snow over the years, probably enough to cover the globe.
I think, didn't we get covered on the Jay Leno show? He picked the Real Plastic Snow Factory got featured on his show when we came out with that one.
And there are uses for both of those. I know people will on Facebook talk about, well, what's the best snow to use? Do you use a blanket of snow? Do you use the real plastic snow? Do you use the fresh fallen snow? And I think a combination really is your best bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because putting the blanket of snow down covers the
Cords.
cords and things like
Yep.
that, and on the edge, and then putting some of the real plastic snow makes it a little fluffier on top, and sometimes on top of buildings and stuff.
Yep.
And then along the edges of the roadways and stuff, I really like the look of the fresh
Just
fallen
gives it a
snow.
finish.
So it's inexpensive enough that you can use all 3 and keep it from year to year, and really it adds to your display.
Yep.
So besides light bulbs, trees, and snow, the #1 selling replacement or #1 selling product
Is
is the red park bench from Christmas in the City. So how about that?
Crazy.
We sell a lot of benches.
A lot of benches, and they always ask for
Seated people.
more
Yes,
seated
seated
people.
people.
Yeah,
We're
so
working on
we've
it.
heard you on that. Any other questions, Rebecca, as we go through this?
Speaking of that, someone's wondering about like where they can post suggestions or ideas.
You can always, the question is where can you post ideas, suggestions, that sort of thing. We are always willing to take, you can email them to us, misslittown@department56.com.
Yep.
You can put them on our Facebook page. I take all that stuff off of there and keep a list of it, and every month or so, I send that list over to Rick, and that you keep a running list as well, don't you?
From you to you.
Yeah, we always try to keep as much ideation, ideas as we can, because it's been
Well, and
over
it's-
45 years.
Yeah, 45
So
years
we keep
is a
looking
long
for the
time.
fresh ideas,
Yeah.
and so everything is worth a look.
Yeah, and
Everything.
we're always happy to pass along your ideas because it's your village, and we want to have things in your village that you want to have.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak just briefly to licensing along this line? Because people always have ideas about new licenses that they would like to see us add.
We do licensing.
Ooh, I just
Sorry,
got
are
a
you
dagger.
talking about new licenses?
Just,
or-
people
Well,
will
licensing-
say, I mean,
Well, just in a general statement, licensing has always been good for a village, but we have to be careful with it. I think over the years we might have gone heavy in North Pole with licensing and Snow Village. The other villages aren't as have the
just-
opportunities
yeah.
for licensing.
yeah, not too many licensed pieces in Dickens Village.
No. And I think we did a button factory in New England
Yes.
license
Yeah.
for that. But certainly with licensing, it's hard to beat the National Lampoon Christmas Vacation as a licensed village series in our core village. But so we're licensing on this list. We have FAO Schwartz, Woolworths. I'm not sure if we had to do Woolworths.
didn't. It
I think
was
the first time
public.
through Foot Locker owned Woolworths name, and now it's in the public domain.
Yeah.
And then I look at Mickey. Obviously, Disney has always been good, and then, like I said, Dairy Queen's kind of a loco boy made good that we use. But licensing is always an opportunity, but it really impacts the cost and the development of a product, because one of the things in my job is working with the licensors, and it's a long process.
Well, and they're very specific about the way the colors are, the logo,
Yeah.
what you can show, what you can't show, that
Yeah.
kind of
Usually
thing.
up against their style guides. There's certain things
But,
we can do.
but one area where we have a lot of fun with licensing is with the hot properties, with the Game of Thrones, the obviously Peanuts, the Disney villages. I think we're doing some
Munster.
nice things with Nightmare Before Christmas. I think we just finished up with the Munsters. I think we have another year of the Addams Family, and of course Harry Potter. Those are areas where we can really run with a license, and we can really get our money's worth out of the license through a 3-year cycle for a basic license, or longer for something like Harry Potter, the National Lampoon, and things like that, Disney. So licensing can add a spark to the village, and it can also add to the bottom line in the hot properties and across the board.
Yep.
So
Okay.
Could you repeat the email address? Someone said the video
Oh,
cut out.
Okay, MSLITTOWN, Mislittown at department56.com. And Amy was nice enough to let us, I said, we got to show them something for next year. We're at the end of the year. We're getting close to new product.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we've
slide
got,
it down?
you want to slide this down? They
do
are
that.
accessories, but this is a series that we started about a year ago.
Yes.
a couple of years.
Okay, and
It'd be
these are the 12 days of Christmas trees.
Yep.
And we started with partridge in a pear tree, 2 turtle doves, 3 French hens, and if you notice, there are 3 hens, 1 on the top and 1 on each side on the bottom. I never really looked very close at them until now. Then we have 4 collie birds.
Yeah. There you go.
There we go. We'll do it that way.
Put them in the front.
And or the 4 calling birds. Calling is collie birds was an old English term used, and it meant blackbirds.
There
So
you go.
and now we have 2 new ones, and 2 new ones this year are going to be for 2022 are going to be the 5 gold rings, which I think is kind of a fun one, the way you did that, kind of on a wreath.
Yep.
And then we have 6 geese a lane, and I don't know who designed this one. Who designed this
This one
one?
was done by Alex.
Oh, it was.
And we've got the 6.
Eggs.
Yeah, it's the 6 eggs in the nest under there.
Well, my comment was it's Canadian goose. So we have lots of Canadian geese here in Minnesota, but I guess it's kind of a nod to our Canadian friends up north. So those are 2 new ones that you can expect to see next year.
Sorry, I'm pulling it off the things.
That's fine. Get a little better shot of them. But that's something you'll have to look forward to. And when Rick redid the display in the showroom recently, he has these all displayed together, and I promise I'll put them back just the way they were. Because
In order.
In order, okay.
Yep.
Because
Yeah, some cute little grouping.
I thought it was just an adorable little grouping, and when you really start looking at them, it really does follow. And the one thing that we've had comments about before is not everybody knows the same tradition, the same order of the for the song. And the variations usually happen a little later, like 8 through 12. You know, is it 8 maids a milking, or is it 8 drummers drumming? So we will pick a version and stick with it. But because it was such an oral tradition, it changed.
Yep. I think we are sticking with it when we introduced the HV, the 12 Days of Christmas, the porcelain
So you're going to stick with the
figurines.
Yeah.
same, okay.
We'll go with
That-
the same ones.
And that's
So
the
that-
same tradition we
actually
did with
researched all that,
when we
yeah.
did the 12 houses
Okay.
in Dickens
Okay.
Village.
So
we
there
did-
you go. So that will work, and that does make perfect sense. But I think these have a lot of detail to them. I hadn't counted
they're
the
just
eggs.
fun.
I think they're just really fun and really neat pieces to add. And when you show them like this, I just think it's just a cute little setup. Okay. We
So the
got a
challenge will be doing the tree with 12 drummers drumming hanging.
yeah. Got to think about how that one's going to be designed.
It'll be the big
Amy,
tree.
would you tell us about the letter we got this morning from?
Oh, yes. So
Is that
just
the
a little.
speeding ticket?
No,
that
Yeah,
no. So just a little update on our partnership with First Responders Children Network, and we were the 9/11 pieces that we had done. Melinda had done a show earlier this springtime, I think, featuring those.
I showed them a
'Cause
couple
we had-
different times.
Yeah, brought those in a little earlier, and we were, with our partnership with them, we were able to send them a check for a little over $20,000. So they were very, very thankful for our donation.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So thanks to the purchases that you all made of those 9/11 pieces, and that was not only our Twin Towers and the First Responders fireman accessory, but it
Yeah.
was a
Jim Shore Santa
Yeah, across the board.
ornaments. Yep, and we
And,
had Tales of the Heart.
Yep.
and
And
painted pony.
Trail painted ponies.
So
Yeah.
across the
Multiple
board
brands.
with several of Nesco brands besides our brands. So
Yep.
it was a nice donation on behalf of our collectors. So that was really good. I did inquire today about brochures, since we've all been proofing brochures like
Yes.
mad these days. Kelly said they will be ready for collectors to purchase online by about mid to towards the 3rd week maybe of January.
Yeah, we usually,
Don't wait to order. This last year in 2021,
Yeah.
we scrambled to find brochures. We ran out of them a couple different times. We kind of had to beg, borrow, and steal what we could, but they were all gone by early fall. So if you want a paper version, a hard copy, order it soon, as soon as you see them online, and they look really nice. What I've seen so far, of course, I'm just looking at proof copies, but if that's something you want to add to your collection, to have one from every year, don't wait to do that. And then Rick is just going to tell us just a little bit why I couldn't take any of the pieces out of the showroom because of what's happening tomorrow.
Yeah, what we're putting together is we're putting together a video that we're the goal is to post it on our website, and also to use as a sales tool for our out in the field for
Retailers,
selling the
yeah.
product, for retailers opening new accounts. And what we're doing is we're involving the art department in the developmental process. So some of you who've come to some of the conventions over the years where I've given a presentation on how our product's made, I usually talk about a lot of it is talking about the molding part of it. What we're doing now is we're working with a video company in the Twin Cities, and we're putting together a soup to nuts video covering all processes all the way through from the initial ideation to getting it and placing it in your display type of a deal. So we've already done some initial shooting. I'm still working on the script for tomorrow's filming, and then we're getting some involvement from our factories for some of each step of the process over there. And so what I'm trying to represent in the video is that, we've got artists, we've got sculptors, and we have people overseas who manufacture the project, the art, the pieces.
Yeah.
But then we also have the people who lead up to it, the packaging, and all the support. And the idea is to get that word out there. And some people who might be new to our collection might be wondering how it's made, what makes it special, and we're hoping that this takes care of that. We're hoping to have it, I think, ready to show at Atlanta for the giftware show.
So that's the end of January, or sometime in
Mid-January.
Yeah,
Mid-January?
mid-January.
Okay.
And so the goal will be to have it there, and I think once it debuts there, I think, Amy, we're going to drop it on the website or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a reference in our new brochure. We're working on maybe like a QR code, something like that you guys will be able to click through, and it'll just drop you right to the video.
Oh,
So-
that'll be great. So basically, it takes a village to make a village.
Oh my gosh. Where did that come from?
I just made it up.
Wow.
Oh,
We haven't heard that one.
no, I guess we haven't. Thank you both for spending a few minutes with us. I think our collectors really enjoy hearing from someone other than me all the time.
No.
And we'd just like to take just a minute to say Merry Christmas to all of you. Be safe, be happy, and we'll see you in January. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Bye.